Please be seated. अध्यामुखोत्रस्य मुखप्रेतस्य प्रतिस्नाने शौनिमित् स्नानं मया दीयते भोपतिष्ठताम्। हरि ओम भगवान् वत्सलम्। Now with your index finger, with your ring on it, you put that channel number 9 to center of speech point. Om Adhyamukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Prithistane Shaunime Chandanam Mayadiyati Gopatishtatam Chandanam Mayadiyati Gopatishtatam Adhyamukotrasya Mukha Pretasya Prithistane Shaunime Hari Om Shri Chandanam Mayadiyati Gopatishtatam Adhyamukotrasya Mukha Pretasya Pratistane Pratistane Shaunimit Om Chandanam Mayadiyati Gopatishtatam Adhyamukotrasya Mukha Pretasya Chandanam Mayadiyati Mayadiyati Gopatishtatam. Each one of you will put a dal on the wrong thing. Adhyamukotrasya Mukha Pretasya Pratistane Shaunave Pushpamala Mayadiyati Gopatishtatam. Om Shri Pushpamala Mayadiyati Gopatishtatam Adhyamukotrasya Mukha Pretasya Pratisthane Shaunimit Pushpamala Mayadiyati Gopatishtatam Hari Om Shri Vishnu Adi Devi Namaha. Right? That's happening, you know. Adhyamukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Pratisthane Shaunave Deepanam Mayadiyati Gopatishtatam मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम, मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम। लोचन मन में जगे न हो तो युगल चरण में ले लो राम, ले लो राम। मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम। जीवन के जाल बिछाया रच की माया नाचन छाया। चिंता मेरी कभी मिटेगी जब चिंतन में ले लो राम, ले लो राम। मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम। तुम्हारी लाखों पापी तारी मेरे बारी बासी हारी, बासी हारी। मेरे पास न पुण्य की पूजी पद पूजन में ले लो राम, ले लो राम। मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम। राम हे राम, राम भरत को दर दर भक्तो कहाँ कहाँ अपना सिर पकड़ो। इस जीवन में मिलो न तुम तो राम हे राम। इस जीवन में मिलो न तुम तो मुट्ठी बरन में ले लो राम, ले लो राम मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम। लोचन मन में जगे न हो तो युगल चरण में ले लो राम, ले लो राम मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम। बोलो राम नाम सत्य है सब ही हो घट है। I want you to get access to it right now. Hari Om. Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. Okay, right hand. Yeah, totally right hand. Please, you will offer this pinda in the right hand. Hari Om. Yeah, okay, you don't get picture. It's supposed to pass between your thumb and the next finger, right? So picture that. Go across this. Om Badhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritisthane Shauname Eshato Pinda. Yes, it is once together. Om Shri Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritisthane Shauname Eshato Pindo Bayati Ativo Patishtata. Go keep it in. Take some blasters. Open this with a little water on it. Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Telangisyo Bayati Ativo Patishtata. Hari Om Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Telangisyo Bayati Ativo Patishtata. Very good. Cover it up, please. Hari Om. Honestly. Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Tulsi Dalani Bayati Ativo Patishtata. Hari Om. Alright. Call your mom. Mama. Just give her a little quick, yeah? With this finger and your right hand. That's that chanda after 2 minutes, sorry. Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya. Om Shri Chandanam Vayati Ativo Patishtatam. Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritisthane Shauname Patamarate. Om Shri Pati Parmeshwar Pushpamala Mayati Ativo Patishtatam. Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritisthane Shauname. Hari Om Atarmayati Ativo Patishtatam. Atarmayati Ativo Patishtatam. Om Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya. Yeah, clockwise, yeah. Om Shripati Parmeshwar Deepanam Mayati Ativo Patishtatam Deepanam. That's all it. Hurry up, Lohan. Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritisthane Shauname. Hari Om Shri Deepanam Mayati Ativo Patishtatam. Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritisthane Shauname. Atarmayati Ativo Patishtatam. Atarmayati Ativo Patishtatam. Adhyamu Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya. Atarmayati Ativo Patishtatam. We want the daughters-in-law to come, please. Adhyamu gotrasya amukha pretasya rittistani shaunamit Hari Om Vayadiyate Vopatishtatam. Alright, you all will put a chandan, lead on the squat, mala, arti, a perfume, and you bow this, right? Go ahead. Hari Om. Huh? Alright, okay. My dear sympathizers and members of the family, they perform this last rites to the daughters-in-law this time. These religious songs, which are called bhajans, they carry a lot of meaning with them. And what this one tells us, that one day we all have to leave this pathway and go. Be the king or the vagrant that recognizes though indifferent. All the scriptures, we study them endlessly to help to get over this issue of death, which is yet to come. In this rough and treacherous waters of this world, the pathway to God's realization, the name of the Lord, makes this trip easier. Yes. Hari Om Ekatin Chuti Jaye Sansar O Ekatin Chuti Jaye Sansar O Ekatin Chuti Jaye Sansar Raja Rang Ke Kal Nahi Chinhat Raja Rang Ke Kal Nahi Chinhat Sabke Karat Ahar Sabke Karat Ahar Ek din Chuti Jaye Sansar O ek din Chuti Jaye Sansar Ved Puran Granth Pagu Vidhi Pad Ved Puran Granth Pagu Vidhi Pad Koi n pavat par Koi n pavat par O ek din Chuti Jaye Sansar O ek din Chuti Jaye Sansar Bhav sagar mein Jeevan naiya ho Bhav sagar mein Jeevan naiya ho Ram lagave par O Ram lagave par O ek din Chuti Jaye Sansar O ek din Chuti Jaye Sansar Ram Naam Satya hai Sab hi ho ghat hai. We praise Lord Krishna as you can follow in your pathway. Jai Krishna Hare Shri Krishna Hare Dukhiyo ko dukha dur Jai Krishna Once you're married, you know, ready to be right. Hari Om Jai Krishna Hare Shri Krishna Hare Dukhiyo ko dukha dur Hare Jai 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 Krishna Hare. Once you're married, right? Yes, right. जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूर किनारा हो जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूर किनारा हो और कोई न के बनहारा हो तब तू ही मेरा पार करो, तब तू ही मेरा पार करो। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, जय कृष्ण हरे, श्री कृष्ण हरे। दुखियों को दुख दूर करे, जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे, विष को भी अमृत कर दे, पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा। जो भी तेरा ध्यान करे, फिर जो भी तेरा ध्यान करे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, जय कृष्ण हरे, श्री कृष्ण हरे। दुखियों को दुख दूर करे, जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। राम नाम सत्य है, सब ही हो सत्य है। The Bhajan explains that this soul has been trapped in this body like a bird in a cage. Many times we hear the bird is whistling and ramajin and we feel happy, the bird is happy. How you know that? Put you in a cage and lock the door and put you inside here and see how you'll feel. This is how the soul has been trapped in this body. We come into this world and we bring with us our kahani. Our kahani means all our past experiences that we have had and the karmas that go with them. Some people's life story again is nice, smooth and it runs nicely. Some again is rough and treacherous and with a lot of sorrow. So in this, how you call it, both of life and this body, the experiences, the good, the bad. What helps us to make life easier is keeping oneself on the pathway to God's consciousness. Injiri ki panjire, tera dardan jaane koi, tera dardan jaane koi. बाहर से तूफान मोशरेगी तू, भीतर भीतर रोई रे, भीतर भीतर रोई रे। तेरा दर्दन जाने कोई, तेरा दर्दन जाने कोई। कह न सके तो अपनी कहानी, तेरी भी पंछी क्या जिंदगानी रे। कह न सके तो अपनी कहानी, तेरी भी पंछी क्या जिंदगानी रे। विधि न तेरी कथा लिखी, आंसू में कलम बोए। तेरा दर्दन जाने कोई, तेरा दर्दन जाने कोई। इंजरी पंजरी, तेरा दर्दन जाने कोई, तेरा दर्दन जाने। छुप के रोने वाले, रगना छिपा के दिल के छाले रे। छुप के रोने वाले, रगना छिपा के दिल के छाले रे। ये पत्थर का देश है पगले, कोई न तेरा होए। तेरा दर्दन जाने कोई, तेरा दर्दन जाने कोई। पिंजरे की पंजीरी, धरतन जाने कोई, हीरा धरतन जाने कोई। बोलो राम नाम सत्य है, स्वरूप है। Any other members of the family, if you don't want to pay your respects, please do so. Right, sisters, brothers, and Bhajan tells us, do not waste this gifted life of this human birth. In God's creation, the statistics tell us there are 8,400,000 species of lives. They are divided into 4 categories. The terms are Andaj, Ukmaj, Pindaj, and Astravad. Lives that are born from wombs, mammals. We as humans are the highest. Lives that come from eggs. Lives that are microscopic, sweat-borne, and otherwise that you cannot see with the naked eyes, and the plant kingdom. Of all these species of lives in this universe, there isn't a body that is higher than the human body that the soul could ever get the chance to come and live in. But we come alone in this world and we go alone. Notice a baby, when a baby is born, the fist is tight like this, you bring nothing. And what when a person has died, the hands is like this. You bring nothing, you carry nothing from this material world. We again observe the relationship, my mother, my father, my son, my daughter. But does anybody belong to anybody? No. We come alone, we go alone. All the house, the land, the wealth, and all the assets in materialism, it's a dream. It has to remain right here. One day a simple knock will tell you, you have to go today. And all these things remain. Yet we cling after them. The advice that is given is that always be in God's conscious environments, where there is worship to the Lord, singing and chanting His divine praises and listening to His divine nature. So these religious songs called bhajan, they bring messages to us. Chute janam gavaya sadhu, chute janam gavaya o sadhu, chute janam gavaya. एक पिता के हम सब लड़के, धरती हमारी माता, कुटुंब कबीला संघन साथी, कुटुंब कबीला संघन साथी, काल डंक बजाया साधु, झूठे जन्म गवाया. Anybody else who want to pay their respect, please, we invite you to come. Vaya sadhu chute janam gavya. Ye Hari Om. Do din to bahunai jagat mein, maya mein bhar maya. Do din to bahunai jagat mein, maya mein bhar maya. धन दौलत कुछ कामनवाबे, धन दौलत कुछ कामनवाबे, छूट जाएंगी यह काया साधु, छूटे जन्म गवाया साधु, छूटे जन्म गवाया. सत्संग की गंगा बही है, कोमल जिसका धारा. सत्संग का गंगा बही है, कोमल जिसका धारा. करिय स्नान विमल कर काया, करिय स्नान विमल कर काया. पापिन पाप कराया साधु, झूठे जन्म गवाया साधु, झूठे जन्म गवाया, झूठे जन्म गवाया साधु. गवाया साधु छूटे जन गवाया राम नाम सत्य है सब ही हो घट है Raghupati Raghava. Anybody want to pay their respects? Please come. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sitaram Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sitaram Sitaram भजुमन प्यारे सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम भजुमन प्यारे सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा पतित पावन सीताराम मंगल भवन मंगलहारी द्रवो सुदशरथ अजीर बिहारी मंगल भवन मंगलहारी द्रवो सुदशरथ अजीर बिहारी रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम जय जय सीता जय जय राम भजुमन प्यारे सीताराम जय जय सीता जय जय राम भजुमन प्यारे सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम पतित पावन सीताराम Go ahead, man. You want to pay respect? Go ahead, man. You just get it through. Oh, with the program. You have to chant. You're going to go in your hand. Bolo Shri Ram Naam Satya Hai Sabhi Ho Ghat Hai. My dear sympathizers, this morning, as I said, we are all here to pay farewell to a noble individual who has passed away, a member of this community, having been born, bred, and having grown to a ripe old age now, and having left us the late Mr. Abit. As I told you, we live on this planet Earth. Earth in Hindi is called Mrityu Lok. And the word Mrityu means death. Lok means planet. Earth is the planet where death is inevitable. Once we are born, that is the only thing sure in life. Yes, sure, but you're sure to die. And how do we know when that time will reach? None of us knows that. We hope that we could live at least a century. Okay? Abit made how much 80? Right, he lived well. The Western philosophy of the time span of a human is 3,10, which is 70 years, right? The South Indian custom is 1,000 full moons, which works out to be approximately 83.4 years. Other scriptures tell us the average lifespan of a human should be a century, 100 years. So how many people are really blessed to make it, right? You see it? Few people have that. The thing is that we are here and we know that time will come. We all wish we could live very longer than what you expect in this way. And being so accustomed to one who is loving, who you have grown up with, as his wife, your husband, children, the father, and all of these. We are only human beings and you must experience the emotion, the pangs of separation. There's a little analogy that explains, you know, we don't know when our time will reach. And that's why the wise always prepare for it. They hear tomorrow is my last day. How you know that? I don't know that, you don't know that. So let me do the best I can today, so in case when tomorrow reach, I would have no regret. When tomorrow reach and it didn't happen, you think about probably the other day, and you begin to do. And what do? Our main purpose in life is called par upakar, which means to serve the Lord and His creation with a guileless heart. It simply boils down to doing good with this body as much as you could, whilst you could, when you could, as long as you could. Just do good with it. Do not wait for an opportunity of good to come to you to do it. Get up and look for these opportunities. This is what will help us. So, you know, every day, the Lord does send down, the Lord of death send down His messengers, you know. You have a list of who going today. Right? It's back down, it's book down, you know. Right? Who going today? So we don't know who name on the list. So when the messenger of death looked at the list that morning, he saw the king has to go. So he tell himself, well, the king, you know, is a very busy man with a lot of responsibilities. I should go notify him first. So he passed by the palace entrance. There was the guard. Tell the guard, I am the messenger of death. You know, your king has to die today, so he has to leave his body. But I know he's a busy man, so I just passed through to notify him. I'm going to take him a few to come back. Right? So the guard ran inside and notified the king. But the king was a quick thinker. He said, God, you have been so loyal to me. Whole day you burning in the sun, watching my palace. You want to play king party? So he feels good. He said, give me your outfit and take mine. So the guard put on the king's outfit, sitting on the throne, and the king stand up at the palace entrance. He said, well, leave Mr. Death till his father goes back into the king. Late in the evening, the messenger of death came back. He said, you tell him? He said, yes, he waited for you on the throne there. He said, boy, if I tell you something, when it comes to dying, nobody wants to die. We only want births in the place, only born in, everybody born, but no, what will happen if everybody just born in and nobody dying? It has a balance. Yeah. Have you ever tried to kill a cockroach? It will run for its life. Always a pest, a mosquito, anything. But once the soul takes that particular body due to karma, it gets to love it. And the same way too, when the soul comes in this body, we get to love it. And we don't want to leave it. He said, boy, when I tell you, you talk about trouble, nobody wants to die now. He said, watch, look at the time, it rarely now, right? He said, I have time to go inside, you know, but I'm going to carry somebody. I'm going to carry you. But when you look at it, the understanding of this was a chronology. Was it the God's time? No, it was the king's time. And all what he tried to evade the issue of leaving this body, he had to leave it. However, in Sanatan Dharam, the tenets of Hinduism teaches us that we do not identify with this body, but with the soul inside. This soul is part and parcel of the Lord. It's the most ancient thing in this universe. This body is only like a house, housing the soul. Blessed because of karma, to be blessed in it, and we have this privilege, we can work our way to elevate ourselves, that to reach a highest situation after which we can get oneness with the Lord. Or due to the law of reincarnation, if we have to return, we want to return better than you are right now. Not worse off. So Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Arjun, listen, I'll tell you. Ariyom, yainang veti hantaram, yachaivanang manyate hatam, ubhavatav na bijani do nanyang hanti na hanyate. He said, Arjun, his disciple, that person is considered to have possessed the highest excellence and wisdom. Who can see the difference between the soul and the body? You see, most of the times, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we say, this is me. This is me. Alright? But if anybody asked this morning, what time Abit coming from the funeral home? Did anybody ask that question? What time Abit coming from the funeral home? You ask that question? Huh? No. You ask what time will the body come? You see the difference there? Right? When the soul has left the body, we identify now the difference between body and soul. Now how can this be realized? Only when your third eye is open. Then the light of knowledge will dawn, dispelling the darkness of ignorance. And we then see the difference between body and soul. So Lord Krishna says, Arjuna, that person who can realize that early in his life, there's a difference between the body and the soul. That person would have possessed the highest excellence of wisdom. Panajayate mriyate va kadachi trayam bhutva bhavitavana bhuyaha ajonityam shastravyam puranuno hanyate hanyamano shariran. This soul is never born. How can it die? It is part and parcel of the universal Lord. It is the most ancient thing in this universe. It existed before it came into this body. Whilst in the body and there is consciousness, you can identify with it. But it doesn't mean when it has left the body, it has died. No. And that's where all these rites and rituals in Hinduism you can still do to help the soul. Because the soul will die. He said, Arjuna, Hari Om, not even this body dies. Why? The body is made up of 5 gross elements of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And we learn in school, matter cannot be created nor destroyed. So you will notice whenever you go to a Hindu funeral, the coffin will be rested 5 places on the ground before you actually dispose of it. The first one begins at the entrance there. And a ritual is performed, and every time that ritual is performed, you ask the elements be released into its natural state. May earth go back to earth, water to water, fire to fire, air to air, ether to ether. So if the soul doesn't die, and the body does not die, then Lord Krishna is saying, why grieve over them? Why grieve over it? The moment you're born in book, it had to happen. You could do what you want, you could be the king or the vagrant, it's got to happen. The important thing is that what we do with this body, when we get it, from that time, well, let me say, childhood is innocence, right? When you become fully responsible for yourself, until the time comes to leave. That is what counts with this body, what you did with this body and this earth. And every one of us, one day we had to face the Lord and answer for it, and you don't get away. Nobody gets away. That's the law of karma. The law of karma is the logical law of the universe. We are the creators of our destiny. How you make your bed, so you will lie. What you plant, that's what you're going to reap. He said, Arjun, Veda Vinashinam ko nityanga ayam ena manjamya manjayam kathang se purush ko partakang ko ghalyanti ko hanti karam. He said, that person again who knows the soul to be imperishable, without decay, without birth, and without death. The soul cannot be killed, nor can it kill. That person has achieved the highest excellence of wisdom. Vasasani jirnani yatha vihai navani grahanati naroparani tatha sharirarani vihai jirna ko nanyati sanyati navani dehi. So Arjuna asked the Lord the question, you know. He said, Lord, why life had to be like this? You work your whole life, and time to settle and relax now. You hear knock on the door, time to go home. Why? So then the Lord replied to him, he said, Arjuna, this body is just like a suit of clothes. And if you have an outfit like this, and you like to wear more than the others, you wear an outfit, it will become worn out faster. So what you do, you have to discard it or you make a new one. So too, when the soul feels this body is no longer able to keep it, and mainly due to physical deterioration, we don't really treat this body as we should, you know. Right? The soul does discard the body to take on a new one dependent on the law, the logical law of reincarnation of karma. Right? So it continues to live on. Nainang chidanti shastrani nainang dahati pavaka nachainang kalite yapuvano shosheti maruta. He said, no weapon has yet been invented to destroy the soul. No amount of water to drown it, and no amount of fire can burn it. It is the most ancient thing. It is part that we are all devotees. The Lord is like a big bulb up there. And all his creation, we are like little sparks of that big bulb there. Universally we are one, individually we are separate. But we are all God's children. We are part of that eternal spark, part of that bulb up there. So Arjun, knowing this, we do not grieve over death. It will happen, it must happen. Okay? And the important thing, as I said, is preparation for saying when that time will come, when nobody knows. Abit is lucky, he made 80 years. How many people fighting to make half of that these days? One of the predictions in this time is all the ripe mangoes will stay on the tree and the green ones will start to fall. If you understand what it means. Elder ones remaining, younger ones dying out. Right? This is prediction is going to happen because of the lifestyle and all these things that is taking place. So he has lived a very to a nice ripe age of 80 years, which is great, you know. And he lived healthy in the sense that he didn't really suffer. He got a sick with a while, but there's nothing to say. Where he was bedridden and all these things and so on. Okay? I had the privilege to know Abit since I came to live in Victor in 1982. Alright? Besides that too, all these boys, I think I teach them in his funds. And everyone must have been in fun department. Huh?
Excuse me. When he had Abit, he had 200. He had.
Right, but you see it? I mean, that's why we're here. Right? And since I've known him, always a very loving, peaceful, very respectable person. Very respectable. His children are also the same thing too, grandchildren, everybody and so on. So he has left a legacy here. What you need to do now, you have to take care of your mother now. That's an obligation of son. Now you'll notice, I make these boys and them put this cuff on his shoulder. If a parent is blessed to have 4 more sons, you don't hold a cup in your hand. You put it on your shoulder. You pay back certain obligation to your parent. And how much he total even only small? Where is the total a little bit now? Right? He also was a great singer. He made international trips with Mayazamana and so on. You know, he loved singing a lot then. And he loved his culture and all these things and so on. So he has left a mark, a legacy in his life. And again, all we can do is pray and ask the Lord blessings upon the Atma or the soul. Join your hands. Hariyo Gita Ganga Chagayatri Sita Satya Saraswati Brahmvidya Brahmavari Tri Sindhya Mukti Gehini Artha Matra Chidananda Bhampari Bhainashini Veda Tri Parayanantra Tatvarta Jnana Manjari Prem Se Boliye Ram Nam Satya Hai Sabai Khanda Hai. Place the flowers and bow. I think members of the community here, Roddy is a member of this community so long, Roddy would have known him from his childhood days. So now you do. And only grew up as young boys in those days and so on. So to hear a little more about the late Abit, I'll ask alright, we have granddaughter who will, how you call it, do Eulogy, as they will tell us a little more of the Abit Ali.
When nobody wants to live here, Abit Ali come and live that alone.
Well, look at that.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, okay.
At 50 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
To be absent from the body is to be present with God. Abit Krishna Ali, also known as Tiger or Lion, was born on the 21st of October, 1941. He was the third of 13 siblings. At the late Rukmani and Samsaras. He attended the Guayco Presbyterian School and ended his primary education at the standard 4 level due to poor socio-economic circumstances. Despite leaving school at standard 4, he had a unique handwriting that left his kids in awe up to this day. He started doing odd job searches, which included making handmade postcards to sell to help make ends meet. Entering his teen years, Abit spent some of his time with his aunt, who lived 2.5 village, where he assisted and learned to plant the watermelon. When the crop was harvested, he would accompany his aunt and uncle to the tuna market to sell their produce. However, at the same market, his luck struck and he laid his eyes on pollution.
Lily lived with her aunt and 2 other sisters in Tunapun. They also sold watermelon at the same market. When he saw her, he was captivated and swore he would marry this girl. 6 years later, he ventured back to Tunapun, where he rekindled their marriage, their meeting at a shop. Of course, her aunt called them chatting, and right there indicated that she has 3 daughters to marry. Which one you want? He immediately said he wanted Puli to be his wife. 1 month after, Abit and Puli sealed their marriage and moved to Sangrani to his aunt Rosie's home.
After marriage, he ventured to John Dee to start interior designing. However, he could not complete this trade due to financial constraints, given that he now must support his family of his own. Indar and Dewan, his first 2 sons, were brought into this world soon after, and then the opportunity for land became available. Ramapalli's aunt bought the land where they further procreated lovingly and had 7 kids in total. Abit worked in the Ministry of Works as a painter. He made many friends even after retirement of 60 years and maintained their friendship. Tiger was a creative, artistic, craft-oriented, and all-rounded individual. Rampa never took a sick day, and when he did take a vacation, he engaged in doing private jobs to supplement his income. His hobbies was gardening, painting, woodworking, to name a few. He enjoyed singing immensely, so much so that he joined the Naya Zamana Orchestra. He traveled to New York and Canada singing his heart out. Another hobby was caring for his birds, to which he had a favorite of 21 years. He called that one Old Man, who he even fed pork.
Grandpa instilled many skills to his children, namely painting, cricketing, hunting, fishing, and gardening, not forgetting the OCD that we still remember like yesterday. He folded clothes in a specific way, cleaned in a pristine manner, and when others hung out the laundry, he would rehang it to his likeness. When eating his food, he chewed each bite exactly 52 times, which always made him laugh at the table. He always insisted on laying a clean cloth before he placed his plate. He then proceeded to eat in mathematical quarters, eating 3 quarters and leaving the last quarter for his kids.
Abit loved all his children equally, but somehow he drummed up a lag for his daughters. After mealtime, he would always make sure the dishes were washed and the sinks left immaculately clean. He then enjoyed a good cup of coffee with his daughters. His 7 children can attest that he was a loving father who provided the best he could. If he couldn't provide financially, he would with his physical labor of love. His first 4 sons could never forget all the time he threw them in the river and said to them, "Swim, as this is the way of teaching them to swim." The 4 Peter and the 2 princes never got the opportunity to experience these fun times. God was the center of his upbringing, and he ensured everyone learned the prayers and bhajan from Hindu schools and even the Our Father prayer. As fortnight pay was received, he would jump on his racer's bike and showed up to the school with money for all his kids just to treat them. As for his popo, he looked forward to Royal Castle as his usual treat. Every Sunday, he would take his stroll to have a double, a cold air, and meet up with his friend Lucy. He also spent time with his grandchildren and took them for walks to the garden and for corn and cookery. As you would expect, the children were so well maintained, he could not get lost. News time and radio programs were his favorite, and he insisted on complete silence. Some of his favorite songs and songsters were Sohani Rat, Strawberry Pecan Home, Paro, and Celine Dion, and the Scorpions from Long. Life of the party he was. He loved his family time the most and treasured each moment. Grandpa would surely be missed, but all the memories that was made will surely be remembered and will be replayed in our minds forever. We love you and we miss you dearly, and we pray that your soul attain liberation with Lord Krishna, as we also join your parents, siblings, and grandson Vijay, whom you love and dearly miss. Thank you.
Earlier I've heard so much of the late Abit from his children, his grandchildren, a legacy that he has left to them. I want to leave the floor open. I know he has one friend in this community of Picton Road, Sangre Grande. If any member of the community wishes to express any sentiments, please, you're welcome to do so. Oh, we have a counselor here. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, Sitaram, Namaste. For those who don't know, my name is Rasta Hussein, Councillor for Sairani Northwest. You know, it does not give me much pleasure to speak on this occasion because, you know, I mean, knowing these guys, knowing his family, his sons, his daughters, his wife, and so on, you know, this is saddening. But, my people, when we look at death, it is something that we all must see. And it hits home when our bereaved, you know, ones, or close ones, die. So, I'm saying today here, no matter what religion you belong to, God, Almighty God, does not belong to any particular religion. My good friend Convict will attest to that, and his assistant. Yes. But you know, I have to say that during Abit, through the years, you know, sometimes you take a little, you know, little waters, right, next to, not far from it. And he has produced some very, very honest children, yes, sons and daughters, very, very respectable sons and daughters. So I must say that he has lived his life to the fullest. You know, knowing him and growing up, you know, I'm just 67 years young, right? And he was 81, right? 81? 80. he has lived his life to the fullest. And as a singer, we see hearing him on the radio. In those days, there were two radio stations, right? State radio and Radio Trinidad. Yeah. And Naya Samana was the orchestra that he sang with. And usually, when we always request a song from him. So, my people, what we are saying here today is that sooner or later we all will face this, this situation with death. So please, I am saying, always give thanks to God, give thanks and praise for all health and strength. I thank you very much to the family, and on behalf of my family and the Side Valley Regional Corporation, I express my condolences to you all. Okay? Thank you very much.
Now all who know my father, everybody know him as a hard-working guy.
Yes.
One of the best things he teaches is also be patient and hard-working, and also neat and clean when you do it.
Yes.
And that is the best teaching ever. Honesty, hard work, and cleanliness. It is always there. And every day I just get up. And if I don't get something to do, I uneasy, gotta find something to do. If I don't have work, I tell my sister, I got a work and job wrong there. But I had to be doing something productive. And that I will carry on forever.
Good day, everyone. My father was my best friend. And that is something, that's a relation that you can seek to break at all. To have a father that is your best friend, your lineman partner, your everything. Look forward to going out with him every day we lie, we get together, we do everything together. He taught me a lot. He brought me up to be the man I am today. The love I have for him is so pure and genuine. He has made me to be a strong person, a hard-working person, and determination towards anything I do. And for this, Dad, I want to say, I love you and thank you. Thank you for bringing me up to be the person I am today. All life lessons you have taught me. I thank you and I love you.
Ricky, or somebody would like to express something.
And may I introduce everyone to Ms. Shaman Johnson, the Senior Superintendent of the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service.
Thank you, my dear. Morning, everybody, and my deepest condolences to the family. I don't know this gentleman, but I know his son and the passion with which and the love that this young man has for his dad, and I'm clear in my mind that your dad would have raised your family really well. And so what you all are saying, in terms to hear children talk about their dad and cleanliness and all of that, it stands out for me in terms of how your father would have raised you all. And on behalf of the Commissioner of Prisons and the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service and my own family, I would like to, offer sincere condolences to your families, and we are here for you if you have any needs or anything. We are here for you always, as we'll always be here for Revenger. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for kissing us with your presence and expressing those sentiments. Okay, the children, our grandchildren, they would like to render a special song at this time, so I know pass the microphone to them. Please come.
Everybody know, let's say I became that boss. Right? I won't be sad, I won't do everything. But in this world, teach me that when we're born, we're going to die. I'm going to accept this thing, the cold thing. Told us, right? And we live good with our Father, with the land of my brother said, we enjoy all our time. But as he said, he was our best friend. We shall lie, enjoy ourselves together, enjoy ourselves with the children, in church. Thank you.
प्रभु की प्राप्ति का मूल मंत्र है संपूर्ण समर्पण। ए आत्मा चल प्रभु को साथ दे, तू सारा जीवन। ओ देख प्रभु तेरी निकट निराजे, देख प्रभु तेरी निकट निराजे, कर ले अभिवादन ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से। हे मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले विलंब, प्रभु की प्राप्ति का प्रेम पत्र बनकर तू शुभ फल कर ले। हे किरण किरण के नयन किरण से, ओ किरण किरण को निरख नयन से, हो जा मन में मगन ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से। हे मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन।
The reason why we would have chosen this version, this is one that my grandfather always loved to sing and listen to, so hence we've rendered this one to him. Thanks.
Okay, Bolo Ram Nam, Satya Hai, Sabahi, Om Hata Hai. Please come at the side, take a flower. As we close our ritual, we'll be leaving for the two rosary train. Everybody of this Abit Ali will be, we have the burial rites here. At this time, all we can do, prayer is very important. Our hearts put together in whatever way you know your prayer, offer it to the Lord, begging mercy upon the soul. So I want to ask you, please, let us stand at this time as we offer our final prayer. asking the Lord and Master of the universe that, O Lord, please listen to our humble prayer and request. For one who has no other hope and support, kindly accept him at your feet. Even though in life we do good, we do bad, did wrong, without really good, please forgive. For the currents of the waters of this world are treacherous indeed. Your name departed to your consciousness makes the street easier. O merciful and compassionate Lord, your beloved Father, have mercy on the soul. Without sin, freedom for disciples of birth and death becomes impossible. O Lord, kindly take care of this departed soul. Be pleased to keep it as your servant. We as your children pray on its behalf. Shri Krishna Chandra Maharaj Prabhu Vinati itne suniye suniye Shri Krishna Chandra Maharaj Prabhu Vinati itne suniye suniye जिनके कछु और अवलंबन ही तिनके चरणन और रखिए रखिए इसके अवगुण बहुतेरे है यह पार क्षमा करिए करिए श्री कृष्ण चंद्र महाराज प्रभु विनती इतनी सुनिए सुनिए यह मृतक जीव को सुधारो गति निज धाम बना और रखिए रखिए कोई पुत्र तुम्हार करे विनती निज धाम इसी को चाहिए चाहिए श्री कृष्ण चंद्र महाराज प्रभु विनती इतनी सुनिए सुनिए विनती इतनी सुनिए सुनिए. Our friend has put some beautiful words together saying that though your smile is gone forever and your hand we cannot touch, still we'll have some memories of the one we love so much. We will think of you in silence and often speak your name. All we will have are memories and your picture and afraid. Our hearts will ache in sadness and our silent tears will flow. For what it meant to lose you, no one will ever know. Your memory will be our keepsake, with which we will never part. For the Lord has given us keeping, and we will always keep you in our heart. Aaron? So these beautiful words describe the slogan personality was gone, the latest the Abit Ali. Mario, Anadi Vidhano Deva Sankha Chakra Gadadhara Akshaya Putre Kapsha Preta Moksha Prado Bhava Krishna Krishna Kripangutvam Gatinam Gatir Bhava Sansar Manganan Prasita Purushottama Om Tat Pretatma Shanti Tat Sat Pretatma Shanti Tat Sat Pretat Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bolo Ram Naam Satya hai sab hi ho khat hai. Kindly be seated. We leave a few minutes for those who would like to have a final viewing. We have a return to perform at the gateway here, and then we leave for the tour cemetery. So those who would like to have a final view, please, you can do so. All these flowers are there.
दिल क्या उजड़ा दुनिया उजड़ी रूठ गई है बहार हम जीवन कैसे गुजारे ओ मंदिर गिरता फिर बन जाता दिल को कौन संभाले हो दुनिया के रखवाले सुन दर्द भरे मेरे नाले सुन दर्द
Right? Very good. Mira.
Praising presents Inspirational Songs for the Soul, Volume 1, Awakening the Inner Within. This gift is a collection of meaningful bhajans that emphasize the journey from the womb to the tomb, applying the mystical formula of life. Plan your life as though you live forever, but live each day as though it's your last. Do enjoy. आए भी अकेला, into this world we have come alone, और जाए भी अकेला. And in a similar manner, when we take our exit, we shall leave alone. 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला. When we do take stock of our lives, we realize that this life is a very short visit to a mela. This is a world of strangers. No one is yours. Although everyone lives, I am still alone. आए भी अकेला और जाए भी अकेला.
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा. आए भी अकेला जाए भी अकेला. 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला. आए भी अकेला जाए भी अकेला. 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला.